is it time for a regime change? All right?
Mm-hmm.
We've been getting mixed signals all last week.
You know what that means?
What do you mean?
I said, you know what that means, mixed signals.
Well, I think he's under a lot of pressure.
No, I'm saying, like, I feel like that means it's going to happen if he's giving mixed signals, because the last 2 mixed signals he gave, like, something really decisive happened while he was giving the mixed signals.
Fair enough.
Well, what was interesting about this is like JD Vance had literally just come out and said like, "Oh no, we're not interested in pursuing a regime change," and then literally, I think within 24 hours, Trump came out and made this post. Like, maybe the head should talk to the tail a little bit.
If
That's
we're
the misdirection,
really,
I think.
really cutting into what he said here, it's like, I'm not saying we want regime change. But what if Iran wanted regime change? Would that be a bad thing? Let's make Iran great again.
Quick show of hands. Who believes that they were actually on the precipice of having a nuclear weapon or nuclear capabilities? Like, raise your hand if you think that that's true. All right, good. So you guys think that the nuclear thing was made up?
I mean, maybe the enrichment of uranium had gone up to heights that have never before been recognized, but I don't understand the disparity in Tulsi Gabbard making her official statement in March to less than 3 months later, we're here in this position.
I don't know. Like,
I watched the whole video and that was taken out of context. All right?
I'm going to say no.
I agree that Iran is definitely enriching uranium. I do not think they are within weeks of getting a nuclear warhead. Funnily enough, the strikes didn't actually stop anything because apparently they moved all the uranium before the bombs dropped. So there's a good chance they have other facilities where if they were building something, they're just continuing it.
And now even more pissed off.
And now they're more pissed off and have more reason to do it.
We don't really
Jeez.
know that. And I want to go, we don't know that. How would we know?
Well, actually, the Israelis spoke to the New York Times and said, yeah, and also Iran had a bunch of smaller nuclear sites where they had even more uranium. So even if they did hit those 3 sites,
Since
it wouldn't have been enough.
1992, they've been saying they're weeks away from getting a bomb. I'm pretty sure
that's true.
If you went into the deep rural country of Israel and did a historical excavation, you could find ancient tablets carved during the time of King David that said, "Warning, the Persians are only weeks away from getting nuclear warheads."
Yep.
I found 8 articles at least written since 1995 with all very similar headlines that are saying that they are either weeks or months or a year away. Like, I mean, how does that happen? How could they be weeks away for 30 years?
They try to tell you it's because we keep sanctioning them and bombing them and
killing
taking
their
stuff.
scientists. That was Adam's point. We keep killing all of the scientists. That's why it keeps delaying the process. But I mean,
this is like speculation in general. Like, for example, Trump was very mad at I think it was CNN like a few hours ago about them leaking information. And then about them talking that the strike wasn't effective. All right.
Yeah, that's just shitty and unpatriotic.
Because
CNN,
it's dangerous, Brandon. All right.
For them to say that.
For them to say that.
Yeah.
That's a big deterrent. All right. Like Iran is not, are the only guys that want to see us, go down. You have nuclear, North Korea.
You see what Russia said? The former Russian president said that now they're talking about other countries that are nuclear powers giving Iran nukes.
When I said, because here's the thing, for me, it's not about I don't have a dog in this fight, right?
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, Israel is our ally, but it's like...
We'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk down the street. I want to go to the tweet, because people took this, like, let's go back to the Trump, Truth Social. People took this very literally, all right? Pig Hexeth and JD Vance, they spoke that weren't interested in the regime change, all right? This was a tactical one-off mission.
Yeah.
And as they were talking about this, Trump posted this, all right? This is clearly not a statement. He's just playing with the idea to see what feedback he gets back. He does that a lot. He will throw something out there. It's in his book.
It's a feeler,
It's a feeler. He throws something out there, see how people feel about it, and then, act accordingly.
Usually that doesn't involve deposing the tyrant ruler of another country that may or may not have nuclear weapons programs, but I mean, sure, go off, I guess.
The stakes get higher as you get older, and it used to be like Tiffany's air rights, and now it's this.
Yeah.
But do you think it's a good regime?
No, I think
certainly not.
I think the world would be a better place if it goes down. But unfortunately, Reza Pahlavi is like a cowardice, patriotic, vengeful seeking guy. I mean, I can't believe that you could have that happen to you and not want to get honor for your family's name and like seek revenge, but he doesn't seem to want to. And I don't know who the hell else would lead it. So it would be a disaster that we would be heavily involved in if we did do a regime change. So that's the only thing I'm concerned
I
with.
nominate Vincent O'Shana to be the new supreme ruler.
But
of
like I want to get into this, all
Yeah.
right? And I want to.
We have a big question about this guy too.
We have two big questions here, all right? And this is my opinion that this doesn't represent. Like I think you have two types of states, all right? You have nuclear states and bitch states,
Yeah.
all right? Those are the two terms. You either have nukes or you don't have them, all right? It's a dangerous neighborhood. I'm horrified thinking these ayatollahs have nuclear weapons. Like to be 100% honest, as someone that grew up in the Middle East and seen it firsthand, this people they're crazy, all right? In every sense of the word. But then again, regime change. What's the way out? Like we talk extensively about Reza Pahlavi, who's a very nice man. We had him
Too
here.
nice.
He's very nice.
Nice.
We had him here in the studio twice. I got to say hi to him and everything. Is he the next guy? Is democracy a solution?
Well, then we help them overturn their democratically elected leader by installing.
The
Reza,
Pahlavis.
honestly,
Yeah.
like the CIA and the Mossad, and this is on record, okay? They interfered with that to install him. So we have been contributing to regime changes, all right? We have already been
I haven't
meddling.
changed any
and
regimes in my life.
when you meddle with things, you can't turn around and be like, oh, well, isn't the consequences of my own actions? Like, isn't there a saying for that? F around and find out. We did that once already. Can we stop?
And we
Can
did-
we leave them alone to their own devices?
What do you mean?
We
have
did the
never-
79 one too.
Yeah, we've never liberated oil fields in Kuwait by giving a 7-foot-tall goat herder a bunch of weapons and training.
What do you mean
That's
we did
never
the
happened
79 one?
Oh,
Because,
like-
I mean, obviously, public sentiment, some people loved it
Oh,
because
that-
there was
that was a
the
coup.
westernized aspect, but there are. Yeah, sorry, just explain what you
You know, the 79 Iran Revolution, like it's widely
How do we
believed-
contribute?
by helping the Ayatollah. Like when he got exiled, like France put him up there, and they were helping distribute his tapes allegedly, like his tapes that you had to like do record by hand. You could do like one at a time. They were somehow mass produced and sent all throughout the country in Iran. So he had like what seemed like a lot of outside help from the intel agencies because it seemed like what's his name? Not Reza, but his father was getting like too big for his britches and getting cocky. Like they were the fourth biggest GDP at the time, you know. So like, they were pretty much the equivalent of like what Japan is right now. And it seemed like they wanted to like knock him down a peg, or at least they felt like they could have more control over that region with the Ayatollah than with the Shah.
Wow.
So
Well, like
yeah,
you look at the Crown Prince, and like Humberto said, we've had him on PBD podcast twice.
he feels that way.
Yeah. But it's like, this is a guy who has spent a huge chunk of his life in the United States. He lives in Virginia, which I think should raise a couple eyebrows because he's like up the road from Langley.
Yeah, yeah. Like
So let's say the Ayatollah was toppled and there was this massive outcry of bring back Reza Pahlavi as the new Shah. Is there any chance that that guy's not a
CIA?
CIA-backed puppet government who's going to run Iran on our behalf to be friendly to the United States? And I'm not even saying that's a bad thing. If Iran turned into a client state of the United States and we were friendly with their government and we brought them into the modern world and everything, whatever.
Yeah,
But that shouldn't
oil
be our
goes way
business
down.
and certainly not our blood and money on the line for
and
it.
that's a great point.
So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.